And we're going to have,
Oh, I thought they were getting nothing except the position. What's on your phone?
we're going to have two mayor pro tems, Niobe and Muncy. Okay. Now, a mayor pro tem, it's actually a Latin term called pro tempore. And basically, it's very simple. The mayor's not there, the mayor pro tem takes over. Now, the mayor's primary job, the mayor is the chair of the meeting. Okay, so she runs what takes place during the meeting and makes sure that everybody, her role is to get everybody to talk, to come up with ideas, keep everything flowing properly. What my plan is this year, because we have two mayor pro tems, even if Mia shows up every time, I plan to give you and Niobe a chance at being mayor for a time or two. So you get the experience of how to run a meeting. And that's one of the things that I try to accomplish. Organizing yourself in any group, you have establish a mission, establish a plan, and executing a plan. And that's something that you're gonna deal with probably in subtle ways the rest of your life. You get married, you're gonna have a plan. You're gonna, okay, I gotta do this, here's my life. You're gonna be a doctor, you're gonna be a whatever. You have to organize yourself and carry out a plan. So hopefully this will teach you some of the basics of doing that. And being a leader, hopefully you'll get some experience in leading other people. So we're gonna start off and we're gonna do what the city council does in a organized meeting, and you're gonna do the same thing. So, Ms. Mayor, you take the middle seat. You are not Harry Williams, you are Mayor Mia Bush. We didn't get a nameplate for you. The mayor pro tem will sit next to the mayor. And so since we're gonna have two, you'll be on one side of the mayor and Niobe will be on the other side. Otherwise, you can take whatever seat you want, but stay together. Don't separate yourself. Stay together. It makes conversation easier, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Now, this is for Mia and for our mayor pro tems. And it also applies, see these microphones? Okay. They're filming. And one of the reasons to film it is in case you need to.
But she's sitting, it was like,
She's not here.
oh.
You'll move when, so come on. Because if you get out of line, me can just smack you right on the head.
Noted.
Okay.
Don't worry, I won't.
So, it's filmed because, let's say something, and I do this all the time for council meetings. I forget what I said, or I forget what somebody else said. I go back to the videotape, and I'm able to reconstruct what happened at the meeting. So it's important that you press the little button and that green light comes on, okay? And that is a microphone, you should talk into it. And one of the things I want you to learn this year is how to project. And what I mean by project, you have to be forceful in the way you speak, because the way you project is the way you'll get people to follow you. And that's important. And that whether you're leading the meeting or you're just giving an opinion or you're voicing something that you would believe in, the more you project, the more you'll be able to get other people to believe in you. And that's what I hope, as being leaders, you'll learn more about that during the course of this year. And you will also gain a little bit of experience in getting people to follow you. That's for you. I can send that electronically if you want to.
Could you please?
Sure. Which means this is the only signed copy, so I'm gonna take it back. So, what we do at city council, the first thing we do is we call the meeting to order. And this will give you a little practice, Mia, and honestly, pay attention because you're gonna have do this. You are going to call the meeting to order. And what I always do, I say, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. This is a Hardyville Youth Council meeting. You don't have to go into it. I call this meeting to order, Hardyville Youth Council. And typically, we have a pledge of allegiance and somebody gives an invocation, a short prayer. I don't know what you all feel about prayers, if you're okay with that or you're not okay. But I'm gonna skip that tonight because we got a little late, all right? But that's normally what we'll do, but I want you to practice, okay? Now, what I do at city council, everybody, there's 4 of them, everybody takes 3 months. Each one of the 4 city council members. And they lead the pledge and the prayer. Now, what I'll try to do in the future is have one of the audience, like the chief, he likes to give a prayer. But you'll ask. So, Mia, I want you to practice now. Project. Call the meeting to order.
This is the Hardyville Youth Council, and I now call the meeting to order.
Great. I'm gonna get you even more
Oh, I got to do it again. Okay. This is the Hardyville Youth Council, and I now call the meeting to order.
Cool. Now, ask Dave to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
Dave, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation?
What you say is, you don't ask him.
Oh,
This is a choice.
right.
What you say is, because you're the leader, you're the boss up there. When you're in that middle chair, you're the boss. You say, Dave Joseph will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
Dave Joseph will now lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
Cool. Okay, so that's how we start every meeting. And now you are in charge. So what I'm going to do is review what we talked about last meeting. And I sent you this in the email. There were 7 things that the group said that they were interested in working on this year. Homelessness, animal abuse, mental health, including schizophrenia. Who's the schizophrenia person? That didn't come out good, did it? Okay. Low-income families, reckless driving, depression, which really could go under mental health, and substance abuse. So, and I'm gonna give you this, Mia, so you know how to That is Starship Hardyville.
Why do you have Douglas back?
I'm not saying.
Somebody gave that to me in
So you be playing with it
1917.
while you
I-
back here running in meetings, you just be bored. You
Yeah. When I don't like when one of the council people are saying I play with my Legos.
You just been done.
Okay, so what the mayor will do now, okay, now we're gonna follow up with what we talked about last week. Now, I've already told you what the suggestions were. So, Ms. Mayor, you will ask the group, now you've told them what we talked about last month. Everybody with Shell was here, so let's give everyone the opportunity to add to that list, take away from the list, or whatever. So now, you're in control.
So now I'm going to give everyone an opportunity to either add something new to the list or take away. And we're going to start with Shell this time.
Oh, I mean, that's crazy.
Good, good. I didn't even have to tell you. Very good.
It's crazy.
I have nothing to add or remove from the list.
Now it's your turn.
Okay.
I also have nothing to add to the list.
I too have nothing to add to the list.
I don't as well.
Okay, even though that I proposed the reckless driving issue, I would like to remove that because I think there have been previously programs already designated for that. So, because from the last previous youth council, so I would like to remove that from the list.
So you want to remove what? Dave?
Reckless driving.
I'm sorry?
Reckless driving.
You want to take that off?
Yeah.
The, yeah, that was distracted driving. That was done the very first year in 2016, 17. So they made the proposal that you don't consider that. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to take his suggestion, because this is a council where majority rules, and we have 5, so we need 3 people to have a majority. And the 3 people who vote on something, it could be 3-2, it could be 5-0, whatever, but majority rules. Now, Mia, one more lesson. Let's see. What I try to do is to make sure everybody has you're getting everybody to talk. I do exactly what Mia did. I start at one end and go and make sure. But Mia, the only thing I do different than what you did, I go last. Okay, because sometimes the mayor is, everybody looks to the mayor, what's he gonna think? If I don't say anything until everybody talks, then I'm not influencing them in their thinking. Because what I want them to do, I want every one of you to have your own thinking cap on, okay? And so that's why I always wait to the last. So, and then the next question, I start at the other end. So, Jill, you were first, then I would start at the other end, I would start with Dave. So, now, you have a list of 6 now, right? Well, potentially, you still have a list of 7. Now, what do you think you have to do next? You have to decide. Very good.
Yes.
You have to decide what you wanna work on this year. Now, it doesn't have to be one thing.
It could be a
It could be
combination.
whatever the motion is. So if somebody makes a motion, and me as mayor, what you'll say is, I'd like a motion to adopt one or more of these 7 issues. So you can adopt more than one, you can adopt, and you could do it individually. So let's say, for example, Leslie makes a motion that we do homelessness, that's the first one on the list. Then So it's a second, and 3 people out of 5 say that's what we wanna do. Then Muncie could say, I wanna make another motion that we also work on animal abuse, okay? And you can keep going down until, and what you'll do after the first vote, you'll ask, does anybody have another motion? And you'll keep having motions until you've covered everybody's wishes. So if you, let's say, Shell, there's a motion for homelessness. You don't wanna do that, and you vote against it. Let's say 3 people vote against it. But then what you wanna do, you may wanna vote on whatever your list is. And then you can make that motion. Or if you really wanna be the one that leads the charge, you make the motion before Dave does. You know, so he already said he doesn't want reckless driving, and you do, well, you speak up first, and then you make the motion, and you kinda boxed him out. So it's all up to you. So having said that, now Mia, you lead the charge on what we want to vote on. And you know how to do that, right?
So I will be now allowing y'all to motion to which y'all would like to do, or multiple. And this time we're gonna start with Dave.
You wanna make a motion? Does anyone make a motion to adopt one of these projects?
Yeah, what he said.
I would like to make the motion to adopt the plan for solving homelessness.
Now, what you asked for, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Now let me explain what happens with the second. One way to kill a motion is don't second it. Because you can't have a vote unless you have a motion and a second. So, now Mia, you asked for a second. Does anyone want to second that?
Does anyone want to second that?
I second that.
Okay, so now we have a motion, we have a second. And what we'll do, there's 2 ways to vote. One's a voice vote, and that's when you just say, everybody says aye or no, you know. You say aye, and then you ask for who's opposed, and they say no. The other way is what's known as a roll call. And I use a roll call when I think that it's not gonna be a 5-0 vote. And that gives everybody one last chance to say something before they vote. So, again, you made a motion, you made a second. Now, you 2 may wanna say no. If it's a roll call, it gives you a chance to explain why you're saying no. I'm gonna vote no because, so if you just call for a voice vote, everybody, you just say aye or nay. And, you don't get a chance to talk. So I call roll call when I think that somebody is gonna oppose or they wanna have something to say. So what we're gonna do is practice having a roll call. And again, you go last, you're the leader. You go last, and you go down and you ask one by one what their vote is.
Okay, so Shell, what is your vote?
I vote no because I feel like that is a very big and wide spectrum to cover for right now.
I also say no. I agree with Nice Shell's statement for that same reason.
I also say no as
Oh, no.
Not true.
Oh wait,
Aussie's turn.
I thought she said
She can, when she made a second and he made a motion, but that's why you have a roll call. They made a point, and I skipped something, and I'm sorry. They made a point that may change their mind, even though they made the motion.
Oh, okay.
But they made a good point, and I'm sorry, I skipped something. Normally what will happen after you make a motion in a second, then you give each council person a chance to say something. So you did a roll call, so it's accomplished the same thing. But normally I'll go down and say, okay, we have a motion in a second, do you have any comments? So we have 2 comments, so even though they made the motion, give them a chance to say something and vote, or you can just vote. So we are on Muncie now.
I say yes because the weather's getting cooler, and if they're homeless, they have nowhere to go. So
I vote yes, mainly because we are here to make an impact, and we can't shy away from tough and big issues, because that's why we're here.
Okay, now, Mia, and here's where the mayor becomes important. Because you
Oh, I'm in the middle.
so by virtue of your last position,
Right.
you now become the decision maker for the group. And now, let me explain something. One thing you can do, this is too big for me, so you abstain. Abstain is like a no vote, because if you abstain, it's 2-2, a tie, the motion fails. Okay, so, and now if the motion was not to do that, and it was 2-2, then that would fail, and that means you would do it, do you understand? So, whatever the motion is, a tie makes it fail. So Mia, now, big strong voice and explain if you want. You don't have to explain. But this gives you the opportunity to explain your yes or no vote.
Okay, I vote nay due to the simple fact that it is an important issue. But looking at the other issues we do have, they're also not talked about enough. And I feel like we have efforts already to help homelessness, which it could get better. But the other issues are not talked about enough as well, in my opinion. So,
First of all, for the first time out, what you just did, you accomplished something that youth councils sometimes take 4 meetings to accomplish. You've expressed your opinion, you had a split vote, so you didn't all, some youth councils, they're shy, okay, I'll go along, I don't, but you didn't. And even though you voted in the minority, what you did was you initiated the conversation because you made the motion. And you also stuck to your guns in spite of what everybody else said. And that's really good. That's excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm glad to see that. Now, I'm gonna make a comment, and it's not my counsel. But it's important because you're gonna have another motion. When you decide on one of those 7 things, and one just got to, think a little bit about what you can accomplish. What you 3 naysayers said is very true. That's an issue that the entire region doesn't know how to tackle yet. It's so big. And you're right, Muncie, you said a good thing. You know what happened in the storm? We got a bunch of homeless in the woods in tents. You know what happened, when those winds came along? It's not a good place to be in a tent, and we have no shelters. So it's a problem. How we solve it, I don't know. And I don't think it is a broad issue. So think about that when you decide on the next vote what you want to work on. Think a little bit about what do you think you can accomplish? Is this something, and you may not accomplish the whole thing, but maybe you can accomplish a little piece of the problem. So think about that when you, like you did on the last time, when you go to the next thing. Now, Mia, You had a failed vote. Now you have 6 items to choose from, not 7. So you start the process all over again. Yes, you can. I, as mayor, typically, no, unless I have 4 people that, lost their time. And then I'll make a motion. But it's up to you. You can do it. So ask for a motion, or say, I wanna make a motion.
Does anyone have a motion?
I motion to remove schizophrenia.
Remove, you don't have to do it. It's on the list, but it's never been voted on, so you don't have to vote to remove it. What you wanna do is make a motion on what you want to work. You don't have to do, if you don't work on it, just don't make a motion.
Okay. I motion for, actually, could you repeat the option?
Right now we have animal abuse, mental health of schizophrenia, low income families, reckless did reckless driving get taken out?
It was recommended that they don't do it.
But did it get, the motion didn't pass?
There was no vote on that.
Oh, okay, so we still have reckless driving, depressions, and then substance abuse.
Well, the other thing you can do is if, in the course of, since we've been talking, something else came in your mind, just because it's not on that list, doesn't mean you can't have something that you just thought of. And that happens sometimes. So, and anyone, whoever talks first gets the motion.
I want to start a motion for animal abuse. Animal abuse.
Okay, I'm gonna do a roll vote, starting with Dave this time. Oh, you're right.
You don't have a second. And if you
Okay,
don't
so
get
now,
a second.
does anyone second that?
Oh my.
Does anyone second that?
Oh. Animals don't have voices to speak for themselves, so we have to do it. Whatever.
So I don't have a second? Oh, it died.
Okay, so without second, goes no further.
No further. So, okay.
That's awful, very good. I'm very impressed.
What do we do now?
Oh, the list is long enough.
Okay, wait. Do any of y'all want a motion before I motion?
I would like to motion to supporting,
I want to ask for a motion.
okay. Can I propose a motion?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to motion the option of supporting low-income families.
I second that.
Okay, now, Mia, you have, what you say is, you have a motion, you have a second. Now, you ask again, one by one, and I forget who was which gentleman. And you don't have to go, I always go side to side, but you could ask Muncie first. You know, well, it's just easier if you start at either end, but you can do it whatever you want.
Okay.
So now you ask for council comments. The motion is to work on
Low income families.
low-income families.
So we have a motion and we now have a second. Now gonna do
Council comments.
a council comments. Does anyone have comments? Starting with Monset.
No comments.
So are you in agreement to that or no?
I agree.
Well, you don't have to answer and you don't have to answer until you get to the vote. Okay? Until you get to the vote, you don't have to express any opinion. Now, you can ask her and she can say, mind your own business. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. What about you, Dave?
I think this is a great motion to work on.
How about you, Shell?
I think we could do that.
Okay, what about you, Leslie?
I think it's a great motion because I proposed it, and I was thinking that since it's the Low Country, we should also support our low-income people.
Right.
We should focus on the minorities as well.
I have a question.
What you say, Madam Mayor? May I?
You don't have to say Madam Mayor. Don't say Madam Mayor.
Miss Mayor, Miss Mayor, you're not the madam.
Ms. Mayor, I have a question.
What's your question?
So that's good, you acknowledge because nobody, you could talk, nobody can talk unless you let them. So,
Okay, what's your question?
Anywho, but can we do? Oh wait,
Do I have to motion that if I want to
no,
do something?
you asked for the floor. So you have, the mayor gave you the floor. You can say whatever you want.
I mean, I'm asking because I want to add something else to that motion as well. I want to do two things.
What's the second thing?
That, okay, so procedurally, what you would do is you would say, I would like to amend the motion and add such and such. Then it goes through the same process. It has to get a second, and then you'll go through the discussion. And you can, when you make that motion, you can explain why, or you can wait till later.
So I do right now or wait till we
So
vote?
you got the floor, you can do whatever you want.
I would like to amend the motion,
And how, you have to tell everybody how.
and I would like to add mental health to that motion.
So there would be an A and B. So now,
Do I ask if anybody else
now you
seconds
have
it?
you have to ask for a second. And again, if there is no second, there is no motion.
Does anyone second that motion?
I second that motion.
Okay, so now you have a motion, and you have a second. So the motion is to work on low income and mental health.
Wait, I have a question.
So now you ask for discussion of those proposals.
Okay, now I have a discussion for these proposals, and I also have a question. Now, when you say mental health, are you talking about the broad scale or just the schizophrenia part, or in general?
Like in general.
All right.
Like what?
In general.
General.
What were you guys saying again?
Right.
So, okay, so she want to discuss low income families and then also mental health.
Now, what you can do, Dave, is you could say, because there's two motions on the floor, you can say, and then you can say, hey, I think we should only do one. And, so, and that would, now you have to, vote first to amend the motion, which adds it, and then you would have to vote, if that fails, vote on the original motion, which just has low-income families. So now you have the floor. You get to say what you want.
No, I would like to keep it just the way it is. I would like to keep both motions in place.
Want to see?
I agree with that motion. Or what was going on?
Give everybody a chance to talk before you, so Mia, keep going down the line until everybody has a chance. And what you want to put them on the spot because you want to hear what they think. So that's why you go one by one. If you just said, anybody want to say anything, then you might have silence. But if you say, Leslie, now Leslie's on the spot. She has to say something, even if she says, I have nothing to say. okay? And that's why I do that, because I try to pull out people to talk.
Okay. What about you, Leslie?
Actually, a little confused. What are we discussing about? Because I know we were talking about her amending the mental health to the low-income families, but then he brought up no, that we should just keep it as simple as it is.
No, he was saying that we should do both.
supporting that.
He's supporting it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what am I asked to do? Because I second the motion.
Being asked, no, you're
Okay.
asked if you have any comments
Mm-hmm.
about the motion to work on low income and mental health. Now, you could say, I agree, I have no comment. Or you could say, I disagree that both of them should be, for whatever reason. Whatever you think about the proposal, A, work on low income, B, do both. What is your opinion?
I think B, do both, and no comment.
Okay.
I also have no comment, but I agree with B because all of my ideas is gonna have to wait until after we vote on this, so.
Because that is the next order of business. Once you decide on something, now you gotta decide, okay, what are you gonna do about it? Okay, so now you as mayor, you can, make whatever comments you want.
I also agree that we should do both. Yeah. Oh, I also had a question though before we go into voting about it. So, okay, so it's about also substance abuse. Now, I don't know if you want to take all three in a way, but I was asking because I feel like substance abuse could also fall into like a factor of low income housing. Well, there's low income families in general, and also mental health. Like, to explain that better, like if you are having mental health issues, you could lean on substance abuse to help you that, which could also
You could argue
affect a
that
low-income family.
substance abuse is part of a mental health issue.
Right.
So you can do one of two things. You can agree with the group, and then after you vote on that, you can add another vote, or you can make your thoughts part of the conversation on how you're gonna proceed once you've decided what you wanna work on. It's up to you. Did that make sense?
Yes, in a way. So like,
So,
now do we go in?
You could say, I think substance abuse should also be done. So, now, you can go along with this motion, or, or you can say, whatever you wanna say, you can say, I think substance abuse should be part of the mental health conversation, and then, vote for this. You could say, no, I don't wanna do this because I'd rather work on substance abuse. Whatever you're thinking.
Okay. Well, I think substance abuse should also be talked about in the mental health part. So it should be, well, I believe it should be low income and then mental health issues along with substance abuse. I'm now going to call for a discussion on that topic before we vote. I'm going to start with Leslie.
And why don't we stick to roll call votes?
Roll call.
And that gives everybody one last chance to say something.
So should we do roll call vote or should we do discussion on?
I would, no, that was the discussion.
Okay.
But what you could say, because Leslie has something to say, what you could say is, are there any other comments before I call for a vote?
Okay. Are there any other comments before I call for a vote?
Well, I have a comment. So you said that we should focus on the substance abuse along with the mental health, but I feel like we should incorporate it into the mental health, like mental health in the aspects of substance abuse, either because I feel like 3 would be too many, but if we just focused it on a subcategory, it would be more successful and more specified. Either that or we should remove mental health and keep the substance abuse in low-income families, and substance abuse go hand in hand, kind of, since you know that's how it is.
I think because it's a broad term, if you vote yes, you can incorporate it in the conversation, in the discussion. Because now, once you know what you want to work on, now you have to decide what you're going to do about it. And that can be incorporated in the conversation. So I suggest you do it that way, because everybody seems to be agreed that both are something you want to work on. So I would do it that way. Incorporate, I made a note, we'll incorporate it in the conversation. So at this point, Mia, you're gonna call for a roll call vote and go down and ask each individual what their vote is.
Now I'm gonna call for a roll call vote, starting with Dave.
Can it take some time to think about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm gonna go to Monse.
I say yes.
I also say yes.
I agree.
Okay, now back to Dave.
Okay, yeah, I agree with the motion, even though I think we should try to narrow the motion a bit down so that it can be more achievable and more, what is it, specific? Yeah.
I also agree, and also have a comment to what he said.
That's why you have a roll call vote, so you can comment.
Okay. Now when you said more specific, what did you mean by that? You mean like to the substance abuse or the mental health part or aspect of it?
I feel like we should take substance abuse and leave out mental health, because substance abuse is much more a certain aspect of mental health. And mental health is a way too broad thing to handle for us right now. Considering that we are already taking low-income families, and I think it would be much more, possible for us to reach our goals in a much more timely time frame. Yeah.
I now give the floor to Shell.
So now, give your vote. Everybody's voted except you.
No, I did. I said it. Yeah.
You say yes. Okay, so the motion carries 5-0. Okay. Now, usually what I do prior to the vote, and I ask for comments from the public. And we do have some public there. Sergeant Brown is publicly having a nap. Sorry. You know what, everybody's, would you like to make a comment?
Yes, I would.
Okay, the mayor has invited comment, so please come up.
I have to advance to the podium.
So, we always have, people who come and try to help you all with your decisions and your conversations. So it's important to hear what they think. And so, Officer Ginn, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you. I think a good point was made that your time may be limited to what you may have to accomplish. And you won't limit yourself by trying to achieve only one goal, but you may find in trying to achieve that one goal, you'll see that there are other factors in that one item you have focused on. Because a lot of it is related to one another. And if you just say, I want to go after this one part, you'll see where other stuff comes into play to affect that one situation you're trying to make better.
Thank you.
I'm here all week.
And, that's an important point, and you all said it in one way or another.
Yeah.
You have a situation where, You don't wanna, you wanna be focused enough that you can accomplish something. If you're too broad, you may not be able to, in the time that we're gonna have this year, you may not have time to accomplish your goal. Would anyone else like to say anything? Okay. All right. Now we have, now comes the point of our complaints. You all agree that you want to target low-income families and mental health. Now, you could decide through conversation that your first priority is low-income families. And if so, what's the problem? Do you want to call in experts about low-income families? Do you want them to come and talk to you about it? All right? Do you want to, I don't know, give them money? But, you know, just giving you a crazy example. What do you want to do about it? So first of all, we want to identify the problem. Well, low-income families are a problem in and of itself. But you might want to discuss what are the causes of it. Low-income families are low-income because they don't have good jobs. They may not have good jobs because they didn't graduate high school. You know, do you want to, that's one way to talk about it. What other councils have done, let's say animal rescue and young unwed mothers, they collected stuff to give to those groups. So that's what you all next have to decide. You've identified a problem, now you have to identify how do you want to tackle it. So, Ms. Mayor, ask your council how they want to tackle low-income families and mental health. What are your ideas? What do you wanna work on?
So I like to call for a discussion to figure out how we like to tackle low-income families. And this time I'm going to start with Shell.
Perfect. Anyway, so I think we should do a soup kitchen. I would like
Soup kitchen.
Yes.
Oh, man. Sam! That's a great idea.
Right.
Sir,
Soup kitchen.
soup kitchen, yes, sir.
I have, okay. I am so glad you said that. I have, and this is one way that we can help. Remember I said, give them money? And you laughed? I have an idea. There's a gentleman in town, I'm gonna be meeting with him in the next few days with one of our fire chiefs. And what he wants to do is start I call it a fish fry. And what that does, St. Gregory's has one in Bluffton. And what that does is raise money. So what do we do with that money?
Give it to
Low-income families, right? So that's one idea, and I can have him in the future come. I called the chief in, because a couple of years ago, he had basically a soup kitchen on the corner. Remember that lot I showed you? Yeah. That's has no building on it. And the youth council helped serve, they had signs and people came. So when you said soup kitchen, that's why I called the chief in, because he may be able to help you. And I know he's dying to do so, right?
Yes, sir. I'll be glad to help any way we can. Get some of the like Rick Tell and them to help out with anything we need to do. He's always good to help out the police, and I'm sure he would help out with doing this again. Like I said, we served catfish stew and ham and cheese sandwiches a couple years ago. So we had homemade catfish stew from the Marine Rescue Squad. They come out and helped us, and we made up sandwiches and we served them.
Am I allowed?
Great idea.
Am I allowed to speak now? Okay.
That's the boss.
Okay. I liked her idea, but I feel like we should also have a food drive and, you know, like for the soup kitchen, specifically for that in preparation for the holidays, since Thanksgiving break and Christmas break is coming up.
Great idea, and Mr. Patel with the Patel Foundation has contacts on how to get food to give away. Great idea. Maybe we can incorporate both together. Love this, great idea.
I think what we can do, Mayor, is try to have Rick come in to one of our youth council meetings and talk to them about how he used to bring all the truckloads of food here, and we used to give them out on the corner. We used to give them out on a Saturday. Several hundreds of cars come by. and we
Boxes
just
of food.
Boxes of food, so I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to invite Mr. Patel by and let's see if what he can do to help us out.
Two great ideas. Ms. Mayor, keep them going, because we're running out.
Okay, now I'm gonna go to Monse.
I say we do like a closed donation since the winter's coming up.
Okay, now you, Dave.
Okay, these are all great ideas.
Gentleman, if he was here,
I
he'd
see your
come
name.
up an issue right now, because
David. Your
he's
name's
been
David.
asking me every year, yet he's with the juvenile defense system, and he tries to do a cook drive every year. So he would love to get involved with that. Good suggestion.
Okay, yeah, these are all great ideas. I agree with all of them. And I would also like to talk with some experts so how we can deal with the situation more with better knowledge.
Mayor, can I talk?
Yeah,
I meant Madam Mayor.
you got the floor, Cheryl.
Madam Mayor, I think we should do all of it combined. I think we should give away food. I think we should give away clothes and do a soup kitchen at the same time.
I agree totally. All of them are great ideas. All of them will help us really get to the goal we're looking for here. And yeah, we're gonna do it all in some way. Will help. Yeah.
I think you got Ms. Muncie's ready. Would you want the mayor to give you the floor again? No. Oh, okay. And me, as mayor, you have to always be attentive, because, you know, Shell's down the other end and she may be chomping at the bit to say something. You gotta be aware of that mood of your council at all times, so that you know, without her asking, Shell, did you have something else you wanted to say? You know, that kind of thing. Same with just what I just did with Muncie. I thought she wanted to say something, and so I asked her. She said no, but, you know, that's okay. And that's what, being the leader of the meeting, you have to be aware of the mood of your council. And that's part of learning how to be a leader.
Well, you know, Mayor, you remember we did the food drive before, and we got all the students and all the boxes out of the school and asked the students to bring canned goods and that kind of stuff like that. So that'd be one suggestion I'd have for the council to try to do.
Did everybody hear the chief?
Yes.
So that's another option for you. So
You can do the clothes and our canned goods, you know, that we put the boxes out at the school and have students bring in what they can bring in. And that'd be one way to collect a bunch of stuff by a bunch of people. So there you go.
and although it failed, if you have a clothing drive, I can show you, the chief can show you some really cold homeless people that you could help out if you get jackets and things like that. Okay, something to think about. That would be your decision, just like any decision will be the decision of this council. Okay, I'm pretty strict on time, so, I think this was wonderful. I'll send you an email recapping this. You've taken on a very ambitious program. So why do I say that? We have a couple people who haven't been able to make the first couple meetings. The council is still open. If you have other friends who want to be involved, please invite them. Even if they're not, they say, well, I don't want to be on the council, but bring them and try to get them to help with the food drive or whatever you want to do.
Volunteers,
So the more hands, what's the old saying? Many hands make light work. That's, try to get some hands to help, okay? Ms. Mayor, now you call for a motion to adjourn. Oh,
Got this. I would like to call a motion to end the meeting.
I second that.
now you have a motion, you have a second. Now you can call for a voice vote. All in favor, please say aye.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I
Nay. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, thank you. Excellent. I love your thought process. I love the fact that you're, projecting your opinion.